I'm at my commercial kitchen. It's an off day, but I decided to step in here and do a little video on what happens when we ferment garlic and honey. So stay with me, and I'll be right back. Thank you. This is Phil from Alabama Hot Sauce. That's alabamahotsauce.com on the web. Today, I'm in my commercial kitchen. It's an off day, but I dropped by to take a look at the garlic and honey ferment that I set up last night. I had a rather active discussion about this on Reddit. A lot of people seemed to be interested last night, so I thought I'd make a little video and explain what exactly is happening when we ferment garlic and honey. Now, let me get on my gloves because, as you know, not only is this stuff sticky, but we want to be completely as sanitary as possible. Gloves is the way to do it. Now, any implement you see me use in this video will have been cleaned and sanitized, so no worry there. Now, right here, I've got a bucket of honey and garlic ferment. You'll see that this honey and garlic ferment has the pressure plate on it. And what that's doing is basically pushing the ingredients down. There's a little flap on the top that allows the air to come in and out. And of course, if I remove this piece, we get our first look at the honey. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this pressure plate, and we're going to take a look at what's happened in the course of this ferment. Now, remember, we've only been 24 hours, so this is really a brand new ferment. And let's take a look at it. The first thing you'll notice is around the edges here, you see all of those bubbles. That is the fermentation that's already taken place in this container. Now, I'll take the scoop and we'll push down a little bit, and we can see that this honey and garlic has begun to work. The honey has already become very liquid, which means a lot of moisture has already been taken from this garlic and is now into the honey, and the fermentation is well underway. Now, I thought I'd explain actually what is happening when we ferment garlic and honey. This is a yeast ferment, not a lactobacillus ferment. Honey contains an awful lot of yeast. We use the yeast to do the fermenting in this thing. That produces lactic acid just like lactobacillus does. It also allows as the yeast gets active because of the moisture that came out of the garlic, it allows the yeast to grow and the fermentation to increase. So fermentation in a yeast situation like this gets stronger and stronger and stronger until there's no more sugar to consume or very little sugar to consume. At that point, we stop the fermentation and we bottle it up. This process takes about 3 to 6 months, okay? Now, let's explain why this works. First, we know that there's lactobacillus on the garlic. Now, in a lactobacillus yeast battle, yeast almost always wins. But I wanted to make sure that yeast wins because I did not want any lacto fermentation of this product. So when I received the garlic, I ran it through my machine and peeled it. I then put it in the commercial sink and I washed it in 5% vinegar. I first put it in a container. I let it soak for about an hour. That vinegar should kill any lactobacillus that's on the exterior of the garlic. After the vinegar wash, I then flushed it with clean water for about 30 minutes. Clean running water on this container full of garlic for 30 minutes. That gives me fairly good assurance that A, the garlic is clean, and B, any lactobacillus on the outside of it is either killed or washed away. And that's very critical because remember, I want it to be a yeast ferment. It's probably going to be a yeast ferment anyway, but I helped it out by trying to kill as much of the lactobacillus as I could. Now, if you take a look at this, you'll see this stuff is just absolutely beautiful. The smell is all over this room. I mean, it is crazy good looking. So the fermentation process has begun. Now, over the course of the upcoming time, the next 3 to 6 months, what will actually happen is more and more moisture will come out of this garlic until the two fluids, the honey and the garlic, are basically equalized. That happens anytime you put two organic things in the presence of one another. They're going to make an attempt to equalize their moisture. And once that's happened, nothing additional actually comes from the fermentation. The fermentation will have essentially done all it can do. There'll still be some yeast reproducing. There'll still be some gas produced, but for all practical purposes, it'll be done. At that point in time, I will stop this. Now, the way I stop it is I wrap a bee blanket around the exterior of this barrel. What that bee blanket does is it warms the honey and all the product in the barrel up to about 160 degrees. That's all it takes to kill the yeast that remains in there. So once that yeast is killed, and I'm not concerned about there being an overflow once I put it in a jar, I put it in 10-ounce jars, and then I sell it as honey garlic. It's a great product. It's very, very popular with my customers, and they absolutely love it. Now, once again, before we go, let's take a look at this absolutely beautiful garlic. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to restore the pressure plate to it. And this time, I think we're going to have some honey rising to the top. Look at that. Our honey volume is increased because we've got water added to the honey. And so that makes this absolutely beautiful looking sight here. All the garlic is covered. I'm going to put the large cover back on it. Remember, I'm still leaving the small hole open for gas to come out. This is not a complete vacuum, but it's very close to a vacuum. Now, I don't want a complete vacuum because the only thing that has to be worried about here is botulism. Botulinum grows. It goes from its spore state to a vegetative state only in the absence of oxygen. So this is not vacuumed completely like my pepper ferments. I've left it so there's some oxygen in here, which minimizes the chance of botulism growing. So anyway, folks, that's the process of making garlic honey. It produces a beautiful, beautiful result and a wonderful product. My farmers market and my online customers rave about it. Unfortunately, this is a product that's very expensive to make because both of these ingredients are very expensive. And in addition to that, this is a product that I have a very limited capacity to make. I can make only about 50 or 60 pounds of this a month. So if the popularity of it grows much more, I may spend a lot of time out of this product, more so than having the product in stock, but I may increase my capacity. Thank you, folks. I'd appreciate it while you're here. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to my channel. Also, give me a thumbs up so I know I'm doing a good job. As a matter of fact, if you didn't like this video and you thought it was a bad job, give me a thumbs down. Either way, I'll know that you're paying attention. And once you subscribe, ring that bell so YouTube will notify you each time I produce new content. Once again, folks, I want to thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Hey, folks, this is Phil from Alabama Hot Sauce. I hope you enjoyed this video. While you're here, take a minute to press the little logo and subscribe to my channel. I've also made 2 video suggestions for you that I think you'll enjoy. Punch them and take a watch. Once again, thank you.